government. Meanwhile, President Trump could use the shutdown as an opportunity to further reduce the federal workforce, with the White House saying thousands of government employees could soon be laid off. Let's discuss now with Republican Congressman Mike Herodopoulos of Florida. Congressman, great to see you. So on the campaign trail last year, the president, made the economy and employing Americans some of his top priorities. Are you concerned about the impact that laying off even more federal workers, what kind of impact it could have on an already fragile economy?
Well, first, I think we're all concerned about what's happening. It's the reason why we as Republicans voted yes to keep the government open. The good news on the economy, as you know, Frederica, is that it's growing at 3.8% now. Interest rates are finally ticking down. Inflation is pretty flat. And of course, the stock market's at record numbers. But to your point, I think that the government should reopen. It's why Republicans said, let's do that. We voted to do that just in the House. We saw 3 Democrats have also said yes to keeping the government open. Let's hope that on Monday morning we can all wake up and see the government open once again. Because after all, taxpayers are paying for this. Let's hope they get the services that they deserve.
Except you're hearing from Democrats who say that Republicans were refusing to come to the table to negotiate with Democrats so as to help keep the government operating.
Well, Frederick, I'm glad you asked that question, because you might want to look at a recent comments by the Appropriations Chairman in the House, Tom Cole. He sat down with the Democrats a few weeks ago and he asked, what do you all want with a potential CR? A CR is where you keep the government open with the old funding numbers we put in place back in March. And the Democrats said they wanted 2 things. They wanted a short CR, meaning don't go all the way to January but end in November, and also wanted a clean CR, meaning no funny business, no additional policies, whether it be from the left or the right. The Democrats in the House, the appropriators, thought that was a good idea. So we have been negotiating, and that's why we passed a clean CR a couple weeks ago. We think the government should stay open, and then some of these policies that people are concerned about, which are legitimate on health care, we want to work on those before the new rates hit on January 1.
Okay. Your district, is home to the Kennedy Space Center, which employs well over 10,000 people. And many of those workers are right now furloughed. And while many of them are hearing you say we wanted to keep the federal government open, it's not. So what do you say to them about how they should expect to pay their bills, how they expect to, get groceries, how long it may be before they ever see back pay? I mean, they're not going to be happy with hearing that you don't want the federal government to be closed. They hear and experience that it is closed.
Well, look, I feel for them. They're going to work hard every day. They're doing a great job. Artemis 2 takes off for the first time. Of course, this spring we go around the moon for the first time since 1972. Some of these folks have been furloughed, but the ones working on the vital project called Artemis 2 are on the job. And the good news is when the government does get back open, they do get back pay. So they're not working for free.
When is that? What do you tell them when many are working and living paycheck to paycheck? So they're not getting a paycheck perhaps this week or next week. It could go into another month. I mean, are they going to be satisfied with just hearing that eventually they'll get a paycheck? It's the right now that hurts.
Well, again, Frederick, I couldn't agree with you more. That's why I voted yes, and every single Democrat, unfortunately, went the other way, with the exception of one in the House. I think we can open up this government right away. Let's get moving. They should not have to be the pawns in this political game. And as I mentioned, Frederica, Thomas Cole worked with the Democrats, and they wanted 2 things. They wanted to end this CR in late November, and they also wanted to have a clean CR. We provided both. No funny business, no games. Let's hope that the Democrats will vote to keep the government open. And finally, Chuck Schumer, this is what he based his career on, keeping the government open. He said it was idiocy to shut down the government, so I don't know why he's doing what he's doing now. I'm trying to figure it out myself, but all I can do is what I can control, and my vote was an affirmative yes to keep the government open and to keep communication lines so that these folks who work hard deserve to get paid, and more importantly, taxpayers who pay for these services through high taxes get the services they've paid for. It should be a win-win. Let's hope that Monday is a new day.
Health care and preserving access to health care was also at the core of things here. And, new polling from the nonpartisan health policy research group KFF shows that most of the president's supporters back these Obamacare subsidies, much of which will, expire December 31. 59% of Republicans and 57% of Make America Great Again supporters favor keeping them. So, do you support extending them?
Well, this is the debate we need to have, and the only way we can have this debate is we reopen the government.
Well, wasn't that a debate or the core of a discussion that many lawmakers wanted to have, but of course it didn't happen? And that's why we have a government shutdown?
No, that's not the case. What we're having a base thing is about the budget. The budget and policy are two different items. But we want to have that debate on health care because it's important. But remember, these subsidies that are in place were COVID-era numbers. We want to look at those closely and make sure the people who are truly in need get that. And let's not forget, remember Obamacare was supposed to save money and have more positive health care. Unfortunately, we need these subsidies because the Obamacare dollars, our fees are so darn high. So let's have that debate. And I'm willing to have it, but you need to open the government up, and that's why I'm here today to ask people who watch CNN, call your local congressman, call your senator especially, and say, keep the government open and let's have this vigorous debate of ideas instead of playing politics when people are being furloughed who are working hard every single day.
Have your constituents been calling you, and if so, what are they saying?
Yeah, they're frustrated like I am. This is why I voted yes to keep the government open and why we're working closely.
What are they expressing in their frustration?
They are expressing that I can't believe that Chuck Schumer, who's been in this job for all these years, and 13 different times during the Biden years, they voted to have a CR or keep the government open, and now he's suddenly changed his tune. They're a little disappointed, as am I, and this is why I'm optimistic that people will put pressure on the Democrats in the Senate so they get those 60 votes needed and we get moving again as opposed to playing politics. This is not benefiting anyone, in my opinion.
All right. Congressman Mike Herodopoulos, thank you so much for being with us.
Thanks, Frederica. Have a great day.
You too.